The people that I represent have told in person, on phone, and emails that this is the sort of situation that they're facing on their ranches. We have Kelly Kimbrough and the Glenn family. They have the Malpai Ranch, very, very close to where Rob Krentz's ranch is. May 14th of this year, a couple of nights ago, half-mile east of Airport Road in Douglas, 10 of the concrete-filled 6-inch steel casings that serve as uprights on the border fence were cut off at the ground with cutting torches, and that piece of fence removed for a drive-through. Our friend was called down to go down there yesterday with his boom truck and try to hoist it back into place. I know how to use a cutting torch. When you try to cut into something filled with concrete, it is nasty and dangerous and very hard work. My point is that it would have had to take hours or days to do this. It is on the border road, 1/2 miles from Douglas. If the border was being patrolled, one more instance when it is not. This is no laughing matter. What the heck is going on? Why did this have to happen? This is a story from May 16th. This is a story from Wendy Glen. Last summer, our well on the border had a solar panel stolen from it right between the border road and Geronimo Trail Road. The control box, float, and wire were taken. It was taken and carried out by a fellow over a mile on the border road before he went into Mexico. The fellow had to climb up and unbolt it and let it down to the ground and then had to carry it off. Surely he had to have been seen by some Border Patrol people as all this happened. Other reports coming from Susan and Louis Pope. On May 18th, last night there was a large group that crossed our lower place on the state line between Arizona and New Mexico. As far as we know, they are on their way north. Tonight we have illegals talking on the radio. They're making plans about tomorrow morning. There are at least 2 groups coming up the west side of the Peloncillo Mountains. There are also groups on the south end of the Chiricahuas. Here's an email from May 19th. Today resulted in recovering several bundles of dope, but since air support was not available, the mules got away. Just as soon as the Border Patrol left the area, the spotter was on the radio again guiding and gathering the group back together. 2 loads of dope came down the highway. They crossed out of Arizona into New Mexico, and the Hidalgo County Sheriff Department caught one and the other got away. We understand that the Lordsburg Border Patrol will get 2 helicopters next week from the New Mexico National Guard, but they cannot cross into Arizona to help with the Border Patrol here. Now guess where all the illegals will wind up? Yes, you are right, in our backyards. We want everyone to know that there is not a road on the border in the Peloncillo Mountains. The Horse Patrol has a vital part in helping stop the crossers, but air support is absolutely critical. Another email from May 19th. It is 9 p.m., Sunday, May 19th. I just found out that there are no night scopes available for the area from New Mexico, from the New Mexico line to Douglas, 50 miles tonight. Just one mobile surveillance system in New Mexico, another mobile surveillance system 5 miles north of Douglas, and one MSS as well close to the border about 15 miles east of Douglas. The Border Patrol is just about blind tonight. There are supposed to be 4 units, but not tonight. We need to get these people some help. I'd like to show an illustration of again, what some of the situation looks like in terms of having illegal immigrants that are coming into the area. The following email come from the Stroller family, who are winter visitors in my district. Given the dangers that they now face on their land in Arizona, they have made the difficult decision of not return to our state. This is from May 18th. Hello, friends. It is with great regret that we've decided to leave our little Arizona winter retreat. It has been with much thought that we have decided not to return. We worry about you, our friends, and wish that you had the flexibility that we have to not be there during this dangerous time. Whether you are fearful for your safety or not so much is of little consequence as to how we are feeling. We worried when hunting this winter or just walking next door on our 160 acres. Will we be confronted by a camp of illegals? What will we do with 1 shotgun, 1 camera, and 4 dogs? Will Lewis, that just dashed out of the doggy door at midnight barking madly, will he come back, or will we find him in the morning with a bullet in his head? Guess what we're trying to say to you is that we don't want to do this anymore. It isn't worth the possible consequences. We will miss the magnificent views, but even more, we'll really miss you. Thank you for the wonderful years. Another story that I heard at the Apache schoolhouse of this beautiful part of the country have seen terrible changes over the past few years, and they have been calling on their government to take action to protect them and to finally secure the border. Their plea was well summarized in a letter that was recently personally delivered to the governor of Arizona and to us, the congressional delegation. And in the email, he said, over the past 8 years, we've experienced many break-ins, burglaries, and attempted home invasions. 2 of the attempted home invasions occurred just last month. He says, as someone who actually lives on the U.S. Mexico border, I'm here today to share with you a partial account of my family's experiences living near the Arizona-Mexico border for the past 10 years. We are a 5th-generation Arizona ranching family. By no means is this an account all-inclusive, but is intended to give you an understanding of the mayhem and the trepidation we are going through every single day on the borderlands. My words are offered to you in good faith and are not intended to be inflammatory towards any culture, nationality, group, or agency. But I refuse to waive political correctness into their meaning, which has so far distracted from the important work of credibly securing our borders, first for the citizens of Arizona and the United States. Border security has been promised for so many times over the past 30 years without delivering security and safety to our families. These are my opinions on the matter. The U.S. Mexico border is out of control and has been for some very long time. We laugh out loud when we hear the politicians claim that the border is more secure. This uninformed view is a political fairy tale. People in Washington making these statements don't live here, and if they did, they would have a far more different view from the remedial policies which need to be immediately actioned on our and the country's behalf to secure the Arizona-Mexico international boundary. Our small ranch is located adjacent to the Chiricahua National Wilderness. Presently, I'm sitting in my new ranch house, which looks more like a fortress than a home. Day and night, we suffer home invasions, burglaries, multi-thousand-acre fires, some as large as 20,000 acres, ranching infrastructure and personal property destruction perpetrated by both illegal aliens and drug smugglers. They break into our homes and ranches. They steal jewelry, firearms, ammunition, money, small cartable electronics to fence in U.S. interior cities and Mexico, maliciously vandalize our property. They destroy our livestock and so on. In 8 years, our home has suffered over 15 illegal alien and smuggling burglaries and 4 attempted home invasions, intolerable when you consider that I'm here most of the time. I gave up filing police reports. Why bother? The latest attempt home invasion occurred last Saturday when we were invaded in the early morning by an illegal alien and accomplices while my wife was asleep. The perpetrators were about to enter and burglarize our house and who knows what else. They were later caught by our hardworking Border Patrol and the Cochise County Sheriff. We understand their backpacks, both full of stolen items from burglarized homes in Portal, and some, if not all, had prior arrest records. Last month, another smuggler entered our home and confronted my wife in her utility room before he was run off. And as I write this account, the Border Patrol and the Cochise County Sheriff's Department are on the mountain searching for several groups of illegal aliens. How many American citizens would tolerate a situation like the ones that we experience every single day? Why are we not able to live in safety and in security in our own homes like the rest of you in Tucson and in Phoenix and in Washington, D.C.? Many of the homes and ranches in the Portal area stretching to Douglas have been burglarized, vandalized, and invaded by illegals. No one, and I mean no one, dare leave their homes unprotected for longer than a couple of hours at a time. Can you imagine worrying about leaving your home to attend your son's out-of-state wedding? Or fear that it's going to be burglarized and trashed upon your return? Not a pretty picture, missing such important parts of your family's lives. As I read my statement upon the risk of attending this meeting, I wonder what I will find or face upon my return to our ranch later this evening. There are hundreds of these people illegally crossing through our valleys 24/7. It is a very scary situation when they're kicking in your door and the sheriff is located over 70 miles away and the Border Patrol is undermanned and under-equipped and they can't respond in a timely basis to your call. When they're pursuing multiple illegal immigrant groups through the mountains 24 hours a day, yes, a very dangerous job we've asked them to do.